Holy crap, I'm back. You guys. I am Chloe. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. This is Rise and Right. I'm back. For today at least. We'll see how things go. I was just starting to pick up steam again when that jerk almost died. Took me about a week to get him back on his feet. We'll call that back on his feet. Back looking like that ham bone right there. Yeah, so that was a whole bunch of stress, but I am back. I woke up this morning and I thought, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm doing it today. So today I am going to be working on, oh gosh, what am I working on today? I am going to be working on a short story to start out today. I have it mostly written. I just got to finish it up. And then I am going to be editing today. But I've decided, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are probably getting real tired of streamers talking about Vela and constantly changing their plans. But I'm going to be posting another book on Vela that is already written. It's fairly episodic. It is a romance, but like the way that it's structured is fairly episodic. So I think it'll work. It's also something that's been in like my dead project pile for a long time, but it's a completely written novel that's already been edited many times, and yet I'm still finding errors, but isn't that life? So I never published it because it's supposed to be the first book in a 4-book series. And I decided to have the second book written before I published the first one. Not something I do anymore, but that was my thought at the time. And I never finished the second book. I've got like 3/4 of the second book written. I got stalled on it trying to figure out how to work something out because it was from my days of pantsing. I've now figured it out and I am ready to get it going if I need to. So I'm going to post this thing on Vela, and if it does well enough, I'll go ahead and post a sequel. So that's my plans. And of course, I won't need to know for like months and months because I'm only going to be putting out like a chapter a week, probably. Maybe 2. We'll see. Anyways, so those are my plans for today. And I've been editing it for a few days now. I just haven't had the time that I wanted to it. So I'm going to be writing a short, and I'm going to be doing some editing. And I'm going to be doing my best to get us done, have all of my usual sprints, but have all of those usual sprints done by noon, because I need to run to the store to get food dye. And unfortunately, I need to be back in an hour to do another thing. I've got just like a co-writing Zoom thing at 1 p.m. Eastern. So hopefully I can like blast us through all of these sprints and not get too sidetracked on things. Hey, Kat, thank you for joining. So I'm putting this on the wrong screen. Okay. So let me go ahead and get that first sprint going. Once I get this right app up, let's see. I also had this computer restarted the other day, so everything is out of place. Share screen. That's my share screen song. It's lovely. Okay, so our first sprint is going to be a 10-minute sprint. Please. Excuse me while Hourglass crashes on me. It's fine. Everything's fine. All right. Can I type? No. Don't mind me. All right. Well, start a timer. Hopefully it'll actually start. I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Okay, that was time. Let me know how you did. I'm sorry, I keep seeing the cat in the camera. I don't know why he's acting so pathetic right now. Oh, woe is me. My life is hard. I did some writing. I had to do a couple of other things before I started. Oh, I had to actually get it onto my computer because this is something that I'm writing in WaveMaker. So I was writing it on my phone, and I just had to upload it onto my computer, which is downloaded onto my computer. Anyways, it's always a little janky with WaveMaker. I love WaveMaker. I love how seamlessly it goes from my phone to my computer, but it is a little janky sometimes. So I did a little bit of writing. Story is almost done. It'll definitely be done in the next sprint. I say, knowing that is the kiss of death every single time for me, but that's okay. Let's see. Do I have a mouse? Yes. Spence ate soup for breakfast. I allow that. I had actually yogurt and this weird frozen fruit thing that I attempted to make for Memorial Day that did not come out quite how I wanted it to. So now I'm going to be making an American flag Battenberg for Memorial Day. Why am I doing this instead of the shit ass blueberry and strawberry flag cake that is a crowd pleaser and super dumb and easy to make? I don't know. Do I have any sort of template for making it? Not even a little bit. Do I have the ingredients to do it? No. That's why I have to go to Walmart the moment I get done with this show. But yeah, so soup for breakfast, I fully support. I'm sure if you were there are many countries out there that like soup for breakfast. People would be like, why are you even telling me this? Of course, we have soup for breakfast. And Shirley did some editing suggested by their line editor. Fantastic. Get that work done. So yeah, as I mentioned before, I'm going to be editing after I get this short story done, which hopefully I get done in the next sprint. And this thing, I edited to the end of the moon and back. Allow that to happen. To the edge of the world and back. Back when I first wrote it, before I was an actually published author. And it's really funny looking back at that work because, I mean, it's decent. I hit semicolons way too hard. And I know that they're trigger for people. So I have to cut it down to one a chapter. I wish I was not exaggerating the fact that I'm cutting down to one chapter. But also, I'm really mad at myself for how many typos are still in this thing, even though I did so many editing passes on it. Anyways, let's go ahead and do our next sprint. There we go. Oh, no. Okay. You know what? I was a little bit late going on that first sprint, apparently, because I should have had this sitting up here so I would know that I wasn't super jumping the gun. I absolutely black out in the middle of these things and have no idea how long I'm rambling for. So I was like, I'm sure that I've gone for 5 to 10 minutes. No, I've gone for 3.5. Hey, Keenan, thank you for joining. We've only had one sprint so far, and we're about to start the second one in about a minute there. Also, I know, so Shirley is doing line editing right now. What is everybody else working on? I haven't actually talked to several of you about what you're working on recently because I haven't been around that much recently. So let me know what y'all are doing. And let me go ahead and get this sprint going. Yes, I'm just chugging coffee at this point. It's been a while since I did a solo show, right? What am I doing? Keenan, did you figure out how you're doing those opening scenes? Did you? Oh, that's 4,000 words is fantastic. And Spence, Spitz is about to do some client work. Rose and I are both drinking coffee. All right, let's go ahead and get this expert going, and then we'll check in and see what everybody's working on. There we go. So 20 minutes. We'll be going on the clock. Stop that. Okay, I will see you guys at 10:41. I clicked the unmute button, but I didn't actually click it. Anyways, we're back. That was our second sprint. Yes, that was our second sprint down. I finished my short story. It took a bunch of weird twists that I wasn't expecting. Bear in mind, again, that these are short erotic pieces, so it's not like there's much room for twists in them generally. Not like plot twists. This one ended up going a bunch of different ways that I wasn't expecting it to. But that's okay. It's done. I had a goal to do 100 shorts in 100 days. And then I had the disaster last month of one of my cats dying. And then last week I had, I guess it was 2 weeks now. Tomorrow it'll be 2 weeks that I had to take him to the emergency vet because he almost died. Neither of these had anything to do with us. We're not bad cat parents. We're just having bad luck right now. But because of that, I never finished my 100 shorts in 100 days. But I am at almost 80. So like I did well on it. I'm not mad at the progress that I did on it. I still want to get those 100 done. I'm not going to be going at the same pace that I was, but also I was trying to publish every day on Medium, and that fell as well. And Medium is a place where if you're not publishing regularly, you vanish. So I have to start stockpiling again to at least have something out every like 2 or 3 days. So working on that, I'm hoping that I will have a time where I can just like put another project to bed and do that for a week to like replenish the stock. But also, it's hard to come up with ideas, right? There is that point after you've written like 50 that the well is just dry. Some people in that genre do really well with sticking with one thing. But I'm not actually an erotica writer, right? I don't say that as in like I am ashamed of what I am doing or I am pretending to be something else when like if I'm doing it, then I am that. By that I mean I'm a romance writer, and it's more complicated when your instinct is telling you, well, there also needs to be a romance in this. So the one that I just wrote has absolutely no romance whatsoever. It is one of the more effed up things that I've ever written. But like the story that I put out yesterday, my Memorial Day special, is like a really adorable romance with sex between the president and the vice president's daughter, who are roughly the same. Like there's not like a gigantic age gap. Not that there's anything wrong with age gap, but they're only like, they're under 10 years apart. And obviously he is single. It is a romance. But like that is usually more my jam than the just like sex pieces. And it's harder, I think, to come up with a romance a day, especially when you have to build it in 1,500 words. It's really hard to build a romance in that. So at some point I feel like I just need to like write a list of plots or something and go from there. And by plots, I don't know if that's even the right word. Anyways, so I had asked Keenan before that last break what he had decided to do because he was looking at a 9,000 word chapter and he is splitting it apart. Good job. And Rose just got her second vax. I was down for 3 days on that second vax. I know some people that got it and they were fine. No problems at all. I was out for 3 days. Nothing terrible. I just felt terribly hungover for 3 days. Like it was something where after the first, I wouldn't have gone to work the next day, but if I was working out of the house, I would have gone to work on the second day, but I wouldn't have been happy there. So do what you can, but it will pass. And you're making good progress on your Vela. That is awesome. I don't know what you're working on for Vela. I'm curious, at least like what genre. You want to tell like what kind of story it is, you can, but I'm just curious about the genre or more, whatever details you want to give. I like to know what everybody's doing for this. And Shirley finished a project, and that is one item checked off of the work list. That is awesome. I'm also feeling great about finishing that short story because it has been a long time and I needed it. I did earlier this week write the piece that I'll be recording for Pride and Prejudice, which if somebody reminds me and wants me to talk about it after this next sprint, I will. We're already at that time where we need to start sprinting again. But yeah, so I wrote that earlier in the week, but it's not recorded yet, so it's not technically done. So this was really good for me to like finish a short because it's been a while since I finished anything. Spence didn't finish anything in that sprint, and that's okay because we are going into our next sprint right now. 20 minutes on the clock. It is 10:48 here in Atlanta, so I will see you guys at 11:08. Chalk. I'm having the dumbest issue hitting that unmute button today. Also, as y'all might recall, before that sprint, he was up at my pillows. I have no idea when he moved down to here. I just suddenly hear purring directly in my ear and have that moment of like, I'm like, oh no, it's just you being adorable, but also like in a creepy way, right? So I did some editing. I don't know why it's taking me so long to read this damn thing. You know what it is? My writing style. I wrote this thing in 2018, and we're only 3 years later, 2018. This might actually be like 2000. Oh gosh. This is actually a really good question. I know this is like a weird sidetrack for me to go on. Like, when did I write this novel? But this was actually the first romance I ever wrote. And I had no idea before then that I was a romance writer. It came up recently I think in the Author Tuber Facebook group about like, if you're indie, if you're self-published, when did you decide to go traditional? And holy crap, I wrote this in 2015. But anyways, when did you go indie? And the thing is that like and also if you had ever queried before going indie, and I did, but I did in probably 2014. It wasn't that long before I wrote this book, and the novel was fantasy. And then I wrote this on a lark, and I was like, oh, this is actually, I think, where I need to be writing. So I queried it a bit, and it never did anything. Nobody ever picked it up. I got told I had some really good rejections. It's if you've queried before, you know that if they like send you a personal letter, it's a pretty good sign that they were like interested. That basically the genre that I was in, because it was, I say fantasy, but it wasn't. It was post-apocalyptic with fantasy elements, and I was told that it's just a genre that like isn't getting published right now. So I would have had to self-publish that anyways. Anyway, so, and of course now looking back, like I probably could and do okay with it, except I am now a romance writer. So, but also in the 5 years, I'm going to say, like I did start this in 2015, but at the end of 2015, because it was actually, I had finished my Nano, the novel that I had written for Nano. I had finished it a few days early, and that was where I picked this up. Also, like, things are real weird in this because it's just a different world now than it was in 2015. And I'm not talking about COVID. Just like everything is different now. But also my writing is different now. So it's really weird me reading this and like trying to figure out what's okay in it and what is not. Because if I do keep writing this, I don't want the writing style to be completely different. So it's just taking me a little bit longer to read this than it would if I was just doing a regular proofreading thing on it. Also, there are a lot of like race and LGBT issues in it. And again, we're just in a different world than we were in 2015. And it's crazy how much that stuff will change. So things that I knew were totally fine for me to say in 2015 are now not offensive. You know, it's certainly not like I'm throwing out racial slurs or anything. But like the terminology itself has changed for some of these things, you know? This character, in fact, is pan. And that isn't a word that I even knew back then. And I didn't like describing her as bi either. So I just didn't really put a term on it. And now I'm like, oh, we do have a term for this now. So yeah, right. So it's no longer accurate. There are things that are no longer, and also it is, so basically, just to like put easy terms on it, it's 50 Shades of Grey, but his business is video games. And so even like I have technology issues, right? Like there's a scene in it where they're in his limo and he's on his laptop, and I'm like, he'd be on a tablet. Like he wouldn't be on a laptop. This is insane. So just weird things like that. Thankfully, his game is an older game. It's something like WoW, where it is continually being updated. He's got multiple games and that is referenced in it. That he is working on another game. In fact, like the whole like other plot line would be the whole other like non-romance plot line is that somebody is stealing bits and pieces of the game that they're currently developing, and that's cross-platform. But the like main game that she also plays is only console, and I'm like, that's not, or that it's only PC, and I'm like, that's not, like, most games aren't even only PC anymore. But again, thankfully, it's like an older game that's been updated. It's basically WoW. Just put things on terms. Yeah, so anyways, it's just weird trying to get this whole thing updated to fit now. And there's also that, like, I guess it's okay because it's Vela, so it's kind of a single shot in time anyways, but like the technology is probably going to be wrong in another couple of years. It's okay. Let's go ahead and do our next sprint. It is 11:15 here in Atlanta, so it's going to take us to 11:35, and that's perfect because I wanted to be done by 12. So we'll get 2 more sprints in, and I will like hop off quickly. So 20 minutes on the clock. I'll see you guys at 35 past. Okay, time on that sprint. Let me know how you did. I'm just telling myself that this chapter is real long because I have been editing the same chapter this entire time. And I feel like there's another scene in it. I don't know. I'm curious now. Am I going to lose my place? Oh no, actually okay, so I will finish this scene or this chapter in this sprint at least, if nothing else. I don't know. Like I said, that's what I was talking about before, right? That my pacing is just real slow getting through this. That is one problem with this book is the chapters are very long, and I'm worried that a couple of them are going to be pushing the 5,000 limit on Vela. This one in particular is 4,175. So, I mean, if this just one random chapter is 4,175, certainly there are going to be longer chapters. It would be weird if this just by sheer coincidence was my longest chapter. So that's something that I will have to address. I probably should have looked at this before I started editing it, but what'll probably happen is I will edit the scenes. Like I'm editing the entire thing right now, and as I post them, I'll be doing another edit because I'm crazy about stuff like that. So when I do the next edit, as they are being posted, I will be checking the lengths then. That's a dumb way of doing this. I'm sorry. You guys are like getting my internal monologue right now. Okay, that chapter is 3971. This is what I'm going to be doing. I should finish that chapter before I do all this. I should at least have that one chapter done before I go through and check all of these. Because certainly if I'm actively removing, 1,000 words or whatever, I should be doing another editing pass after that. But so far, every chapter has been right about, every chapter has been right around 4,000 words, except for this one that was 2,000, and that's where my fear is. If I currently have a range of 2,000 to 4,000, it would not be in the least bit surprising if that meant that I also had like 6,000 somewhere. Chapter length is not something I generally think about. And also this book, I don't normally name chapters. This is one where I did name chapters, which also makes me feel better about serializing this. I feel like I deliberately set this up to be serialized. I just didn't know it at the time because I didn't know what the hell I was doing at the time because I was a amateur writer at the time. Why is that chapter 179 words? Oh, Lord. How did you guys do in that last sprint? Nobody's talking to me now. Y'all are just letting me do this nonsense right now. No, something went wrong when I was highlighting. That chapter was actually 2,000. Okay, we're fine. But yeah, so I will at least get this chapter done before we call it a day on this show. I'm good so far. I just went through 8 chapters of 29, and those 8, which I feel like would be a good sampling, were all the correct length. We're all like 4,000, no more than like 4,100. So I think I'm good on that. So, and then CB is looking at Blu-ray players. I don't, whoops, it bounced. Looking at Blu-ray players, I've got, is it Xbox One? I've got an Xbox One. So I just have a Blu-ray player there. I sort of stole it from my father. I told him I was taking it, but I didn't give him an option. And I don't know if that's theft or not. But also, he's my father, and it was sitting in his closet for 2 years. So I felt like it was a fair theft. And now it sits in my house going unused. That's okay. Um, and Shirley posted an article. I'll buy me a coffee. Awesome. I've never used the site. So I didn't know that you posted articles on it, but awesome. And CB, okay. Oh, so you have a PS4, so you should be okay. Awesome. All right, let's do our last sprint, and we will end just past noon Eastern time. So I didn't quite make my goal, but that's okay. I will see you guys at 1 past noon for final farewells. Okay, that was time, and that was a show for the day. I'm cleaning that fat belly of his. Anyways, I finished that scene, that chapter. So I guess that is another accomplishment for today. A lot more chapters to go, but that's okay. And I double checked the chapter lengths. My longest chapter is 4,400 words, so I'm good. And also I feel good about planning to publish this weekly, because if all of my chapters are 3,000 to 4,000 words, then I feel like I'm justified in only publishing once a week. So, yeah, that's everything. Hopefully I'll be doing new shows next week. Also, I do have a book out for ARC readers right now. It is steamy paranormal romance. It is a novella. If you're interested, just look me up, Chloe Alice Balkin, on both Booksprout and Story Origin. It is posted on if you are interested in trying out one of my books. It's a shorty, so it's a good place to start if you are curious if you'd like my brand of paranormal romance. So that is everything for today. Hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow on Jace's stream. That's usually at 4 p.m. I haven't confirmed with him yet, but hopefully I will be there for that. Let me send you, or let me post a link to that. I'm going to post the Story Origin. If you have issues with Story Origin, because I've never used them before for ARCs, so I don't know what goes into it. But if you have issues with it, just look me up on Booksprout. Booksprout.co is that website. Watch this cause issues, but that is me on Story Origin. Oh, you are on Booksprout. Okay, let me see if I can pull that one up then as well. Oh no, that is wrong. How do I get to the actual? Don't mind me, I'm just dumb. And I went to the wrong place to get, there we go. View ARC, there we go. Control C. Yes, I am speaking out loud. Control V when I'm clicking. Okay, so that, if anybody is interested, it's only 20,000 words. It's a prequel novella to my big demon romance series. It is comedy. The main premise is the demon comes to Earth because he watched the movie Cocktail and he wants to find women in string bikinis. And chaos erupts from there. So, yeah, so that is everything for me today. I'm going to run to Walmart really quick so I can make a American flag cake for Memorial Day, because I like to plan things at the last minute. So you guys have a good day and a good weekend. And if I don't see you guys tomorrow on Jace's stream, then hopefully I will see you sometime next week. I will definitely be on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Not sure about my morning shows. But